couple of really deep stretches. So we're going to start in Sukhasana, and we'll be in here for a little while. So just get yourself comfortable in this position. If you're a bit uncomfortable, you may need to sit on a block. I'm a little bit tight today, so I think I'm going to sit on a block for a while. Or a cushion or something like that, just to get the hips up. Okay, so we're going to just come into some breathing to start off with. So we'll start with Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril. Okay, so just get yourself set for that. I'll talk through it, but you just go in your own time if you want to. You don't have to wait for me. I'm just talking through it. So just bring the fingers to the middle of the eyebrows or the third eye. Lock the right nostril, inhale through left. Nice deep inhale. Lock left, release right, slow exhale. Inhale right. Lock right, release left, exhale. Inhale left. Lock left, release right, exhale. And just continue through, just focusing completely on the breath. And then when you're ready, just releasing and just bringing the hands down to the knees and just going to deep breathing through both nostrils. So inhale. As you inhale, just roll the shoulders back. And exhale. And drop the shoulders away from the ears. So inhale. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. If you continue that, you're going to really open through the chest and get that sternum up. Then we're going to move into seated cat-cow. So on the inhale, we do that. That's what I wanted to practice. So we inhale, roll the shoulders up, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up. And then exhale, roll the shoulders forward, belly button to the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So really work on that chest and the chin. So really sinking it in cat and pushing it out and up in cow. And then just relax when you're coming back to center. Then we'll just bring the left hand down to the side of the body and raise the right hand up and just lean over so you can come down as far as you like to get as deep a stretch as you can down that right side. Keep pushing the hip, the right buttock into the floor. Keep pushing that into the floor. So you don't want to raise that up. You're losing the tension of the stretch. So push the seat bones into the floor as you reach over. And work your way back. Bring your right hand down, left hand comes over. Same again, just watch the left seat bone in particular wants to come up. So push it into the floor and you're going to feel a deeper stretch. And then coming back to center. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just come into a tabletop position. So bring your feet out in front. With your hands, have them behind you. If you can have your fingers facing you, do that. If not, turn them around. Just come into this position here and lift the hips up. So just a tabletop position. So we just want to keep the hips up. Not here for long. We just want to stretch through the shoulders and through the hips before we go into this first forward bend. Back if you can, keep lifting the hips up. So I should be able to come around and put a glass of wine on top of everyone's stomach and it not spill. That's the tabletop position. You're all doing, all looks really good. So come up a little bit higher and then slowly come down. Come back into Sukhasana. So it's the easy seated position. So the legs crossed. Get yourself comfortable for a forward bend. So we're going to be in this forward bend for 3 minutes. So getting the seat bones ready. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. So always bring those shoulder blades together, sternum up. Exhale, fold forward. Have something in front of you if you want, like a bolster or a cushion. And just come forward and ease your way down. Okay, don't try and get to that spot where you want to get to straight away. Just work your way into it. And feel and enjoy the stretch. And connect to the breath. Okay, so just the breath. So the good thing about this cross-legged one, you start feeling a lot of tight areas here. It's so different to having your legs open wide. So you're starting to feel it sort of, I think, up in the back of the thigh there. You're also just stretching through the lower back a little bit deeper here. It's a really, really good. Just really enjoy each pose today. So just focus on the enjoyment of the pose, not the pose being difficult or a pose that you don't like. I tend to do that. There's poses that I just don't like in yoga, and I've got that attitude before I go in, and it's not, I don't get the benefits of the pose. If you just enjoy the pose for where you are, how deep you can get in. Real deep today, pretty tight from some training session I did yesterday. So I'm just working my way into opening up. Not forcing the body, just allowing the body to open. And if you just allow the body to open, it just feels so much better than pushing the body into places it doesn't need to be in. To just allow it. And once you start allowing your body to flow like this, you just start doing the same with life. And it works really well. You know, life is really good, and then we get involved, stuff everything up. So just allow things to happen. Just allow this pose to be what it is. Just the last 10 seconds. And slowly, slowly come up. It's a really nice pose. You really feel some good sensation here. We're going to come straight into Viparita Karani, so legs up. So if you want to use a wall, use a wall. Or if you just want to have the legs up, that's fine. And it's nice, as I said, to have a block underneath you or place your hands underneath you. Even if you're on a wall, getting the hips up is going to give you a lot more mobility in the pelvis. So get your hips up as high as possible. And then just come into the pose, relax. Now this pose is a stretch through the spine, okay? So chin towards chest is really important. And if you can't do that, if it's too painful, just place something at the back of your head and that'll give you that support, but it'll also open up the cervical spine. This pose is called Viparita Karani. So it's the only yoga pose that doesn't finish in asana. Viparita means reversed, just trying to think, reversed inversion. Yeah, reversed inversion is Viparita. And Karani is action. And asana means pose. So this one finishes in action, the others finish in pose. Not asana. Asana is the American version. So if you're on the wall and you want to bring your legs out wide, you can do that. Even if you're not on the wall and you feel comfortable doing that, it's quite nice to open up the hips. So just whatever you want to do to enjoy this beautiful pose. I like dropping the legs out wide. It just gives you that little stretch through the hips, hip flexors. I've introduced a few new back bends lately, as you all would have experienced them by now. I've got another one today that I'm bringing in, which is quite a nice one that we can actually hold for quite a while. So I'm looking forward to that. So 30 seconds to go. And we'll just, when we come out of this pose, we'll go into Shavasana and just relax the legs. We've got that blood to flow through. So you can go into Shavasana or into crocodile pose, because we'll get, the next pose is a back bend from prone position. So either Shavasana or crocodile. So when you're ready, come out of the pose and just move into whichever relaxing position you like. So we just want that blood to flow back through the legs there, through the hips. And when you're ready, help yourself up if you're in Shavasana and come around to prone position, so just lying on the stomach. And we're going to go straight into Sphinx. We're going to be in Sphinx for a minute, and that's just going to warm us up for the back bend, which will stay in for a lot longer. So come into Sphinx, elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms on the floor, palms on the floor, spread the fingers out, relax the buttocks and bring the shoulder blades together, push the chest forward. Feel that today. So make sure you're pushing the elbows into the floor and the forearms into the floor. And relax the glutes with this one. If we're in Bhujangasana, we squeeze the glutes because it's a deeper back bend. This is just warming the back up. So just another couple of breaths. And when you're ready, relax. Just drop the head down into crocodile pose, just to relax that back. Just for about 5 or 6 breaths, and then we'll move into the next pose. So when you're ready, just look up or help yourself up to, I'll show you exactly what we're going to do. It's called Sahaj Shalabhasana. So Sahaj means easy. So easy locust pose. Just trying to remember how to actually get into it. So what we do is we want to bend one leg like that, and we want to it looks hard, but it's actually not, because it says easy, so it is easy. So the hardest part about this is being on the floor like this. But what you can do is you can bend up, but you're getting a deeper back bend. See that? See the back bend here? So that's a deep back bend. Or you can stack the arms and come into this position here. This is going to build heat really, really quickly. Okay, so come into that. Just get yourself set. So you just want your left leg straight and your right foot underneath the knee or the thigh. And if you can't get it underneath the knee or the thigh, slide it down to the shin. Okay? So you can see there, and I've just slid it down to the shin. Okay? The more you lift your head up, the more the back bend you get. You can stay down or help yourself up. That's a really, really nice back bend. Just get yourself as comfortable as possible. It's only a minute either side because it's quite deep.
It's killing my quad. I'm waiting on.
So I usually just come up on my elbows like this and get a really nice back bend. Shoulder blades together if you're up higher. 30 seconds to go. Just remember, put it on the shin if it gets too much. So this is called easy locust. So it is an easy pose. Really nice way to get a deep back bend without having to be in for too long. When you're ready, slowly come out. You'll feel that in the hip as well. So then we'll move into the other side. So right leg up or the opposite leg. The hardest part is just getting into it. Once you're into it, it's okay. I think I've probably done this at Tweed, Chris, so you probably recognise the pose. If you want to challenge yourself, come up a little bit on the elbows, or just stay where you are. 30 seconds to go. So you probably feel the heat building up, particularly your pitters out there. Heat builds up quite quickly in back bends for pitters. And when you're ready, release, slowly come down. Really important to rest the back before we do Salavasana. So rest the back. Come into crocodile pose. So Salavasana is actually half locust, so that's what we're going to do today. So I'll give you the option. So if everyone just looks up, the option is this, is hands down by the sides, palms facing down, and then lift the legs up. Okay, so just keeping the stomach, the chest on the floor, or bring the hands underneath the body. You'll actually get a deeper back bend. It'll also stretch through the shoulders and through the arms. But wherever you are, you just want to lift the legs up, so both legs. So when you're ready, point both toes and just lift. Use the ground to help you up. Beautiful. Holding there. And then slowly come down, relax, and come into crocodile pose. Your back should feel really awesome after that. So a good minute in Shavasana here to allow the back to relax. Not Shavasana, what are we in? Crocodile pose. So now we've released that, that back. The back should feel really, really good now from that forward bend and those really simple, easy back bends as they're said to be. So help yourself up, and we're going to move into hips and thighs and then hamstrings. So hips, thighs, hamstrings, the next three poses. So the first one's quite a simple one. We all know by now is square pose. So just bring the left leg down and the right foot comes up. So make sure the heel is away from the body. And then come into stacking the legs. So if you want, if you can't get into that one, make sure you come into straight leg with the left leg and then right leg down. And you can have a bolster or a block underneath. And holding in this position. So whichever one is good for you. I'm going into the full one here. You can have a bolster. Help yourself come down. Or a cushion or something, or just a block, and just work your way down. So it's 3 minutes either side of this pose, so we're getting a really good hip stretch. So make sure you get into the best one you can. You can always change, obviously, if it's too much. Just attempt to, you don't have to come forward, but the full pose is touching the forehead to the floor. So you can work yourself forward. But if you're getting a good stretch in the hips from here, you can just stay where you are. Particularly, even if you're doing one leg, just stay where you are till that other knee starts to open. Just keep working with the breath. 2 minutes to go. We haven't really done much with the hips so far, so that could be nice and tight for you. So just remember with this pose, it's a long journey. This is one of the long journey poses. Okay, so it can just take so long to get comfortable in this and start progressing through this pose. You always progress, but it's very, very minute every time. Just there with it and just breathe through it. Just use it as one of those poses to know that you're stretching through the hips, but don't worry too much about progression. Just allow yourself to fold into it the best you can. The last 40 seconds, so just make sure that you're really focused on that breath. So remember, there's a lot happening here, so if you're feeling uncomfortable in certain spots, just breathe into that. So we're working knees, ankles, back, hips, all happening at once. So when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose and just change when you need to change. So you might want to stretch the legs out first, give them a shake, and then just go into it when you're ready. So if you had the straight leg out, just make sure the opposite leg's straight out, set yourself up. So if you've got one leg out, the idea is to work that knee toward the left, the knee that's coming outwards towards the floor. Okay, so that's the idea. Once you get into that position, you'll be able to cross the legs. If you're crossing the legs, right leg under, left leg over. So if you've got tight hips constantly, this pose here is really simple and a pose that you should do every day. If you just pick one pose and you've got tight hips, this is the one. Because it's going to give you a lot of mobility in the hips. But also, if you ever just sit down and say, I'm going to do this pose, just give yourself a bit of a forward bend first and a back bend. Something nice and easy like Sphinx and Child's Pose, and then come into this. just on halfway through. You got something in between. So last 40 seconds. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. Once you come out, move into Shavasana as gracefully as you can. Stretch those legs out. And then just enjoy that sensation through the hips, knees, ankles. You should feel that really nice sensation where your joints are starting to fill up with blood again. When you're ready, bring the knees into the chest and just have a nice squeeze of the knees. You can roll on the lower back if you like. And then just roll up to a seated position. So we're going to come into Supta Vajrasana. I haven't put this in the class for a while, but hopefully I can show you the full pose. I'll show you the full pose, but don't go into it unless you really know the pose. Go into where the position you can get into. But if you're a bit unsure, just watch because I want to show you a few different ways. So the full pose is bring the knees towards each other and sit down between the heels. Okay, so straight away I can feel this in the knees today. So if you feel it in the knees, this could be enough. And you just stay where you are here. But I'm going to drop the elbows down, bring the head onto the floor, shoulders onto the floor, and then into the full pose like this. So I'm getting a really good stretch through the quads, in through the knees as well, a nice stretch, and in through the hips. So that's the full pose. But if you know you can get into this position and you want to lay back, you can have your bolster behind you or a cushion, something behind you and build it up. Okay, so that's an option there and just lay back onto it. Or just be in the position like this and work yourself back. Now, apparently this hurts the wrists a little bit if you're just leaning back. So you might want to even have a cushion and lean back on the cushion. It's always a nice thing to do. But make sure your hips are in between the heels, okay? Not on your heels, in between. Now, if that's too much, always go into the one leg version. So that's left leg straight out, bend the right leg up. We do this in one of the other poses and then just lean back like that. Then you're going to get a stretch in one quad only. but don't let the knees come off the floor as you've gone back too far. So come into whichever version you want to take, fiddle around with it, and just see how you feel. If you're in the one-legged version, I'll let you know when we're at halfway mark. And then you just swap legs. Okay, so this pose here is to lengthen the quads. Okay, so our quads shorten up through our daily lives and activities, and then that puts pressure on the knees. So what this does is realign the kneecap and stretch the quad. Okay, so it's a really, really important pose. It doesn't matter how deep you get into it. It's an important pose, particularly if you've got some sort of knee injury. This is a really good pose to relieve that. So making sure the hips are in between the heels is opening up through the front of the hips as well. Okay, so the deeper you get into this, you're going to get a stretch through the lower part of the stomach. Okay, so stretching the stomach muscles as well. So eventually, you remove the things that you're leaning on behind if you're reclining back, and then you'll get deeper and deeper into the stomach, but don't do it too quickly. Allow your quads to lengthen first. So if you're halfway, it's halfway now, so swap legs if you're doing one leg. And sometimes this pose, I can just flop back and I can be in for hours. But today, the body's resisting. I've got a calm mind, so I'm going to get through. And just focus on the breath. If you calm that mind, the mind's the one that'll tell the body to jump out. So calm the mind with the breath. Then the body will just flow to where it needs to go. The body will heal itself. It's just when you get that monkey mind jumping in, it's the one that tells you, this is too tough, can't do it, too sore, get out, this is ridiculous, whatever it is going through your mind. So get into that peaceful place. So last couple of seconds, so when you're ready, you can start working your way up to come out of the pose. Flip yourself over. Coming into Shavasana. You should feel awesome when you come out of this pose, or once you're in Shavasana anyway. And you feel that blood just go through the knees and the hips and the ankles, and it just feels so good. So the benefits that have just happened from that pose are just enormous. Okay, we've just flushed the joints out again. So it's the second time in 6 minutes we've blocked the joints and flushed them out completely. So this is where we start getting the mobility back. We're always going to fill the joints up with toxins and, inflammation, stuff like that from what we eat, how we train, what we do in our lives. But if you continually do these sorts of poses, you just continually flush it out so that toxins don't sit there with the armour, which you'll understand more in Ayurveda. The armour doesn't gather there, and so you don't get disease, because disease comes from armour, which is toxin or undigested food product. And that's how we get all these injuries and inflammations. So this is the process to release toxin, release inflammation. So when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest, have a bit of a squeeze. And then roll up to a seated position. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana. So we've been blocking these knees, now we're stretching through the hamstrings. Okay, so this is where you get the mobility. It's fine to block those knees, but you'll get up and you'll still be a bit sore. Now what we're going to do is stretch the hamstrings just to relieve everything. So get the strap, both feet together as Paschimottanasana. Bring the strap around the feet. If you haven't got a strap, bend the knees up, but hopefully you've got something to put around the knees, around the feet. Now what I want you to do is lengthen. So come as far down as you can with the strap, with your hands on the strap. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Chin up, chest up, and then pull on the strap. So you're pulling on the strap to get the stomach to the thighs. Okay, that's the only reason you're doing it. If you don't get the stomach to the thighs, keep working on that. If you've got the stomach to the thighs, keep pulling. And work the forehead to the toes. Okay, forehead to toes. That's what we're working on. You might need the strap after that. Then you can grab the big toes comfortably with your peace fingers and just work on that. So 3 minutes in this pose. It's a long pose, a deep stretch. So Paschimottanasana is coming back to me what it means. It means Western or Eastern facing intense stretch. That's what it means. So it's meant to be intense. So work with it. Always work through the process of stomach to thighs, then forward towards the toes and looking at the toes. Just keep looking at the toes. To get in deeper, you can just move those seat bones backwards. Holding that really, really good stretch. Always use the strap if you can't comfortably grab the toes, okay? Always use the strap. If you've got the toes comfortably, you need to pull on the toes, so then the toes come towards the shins and the heels push away to the end of the mat, and that's the intensity of the stretch. This really is awesome for opening up your hamstrings, okay? So if you've got tight hamstrings, this is just a must of a pose to do. It'll get your hamstrings open so quick. Just keep working through. Really good stretch in the lower back. And once your stomach is to your thighs, you're actually lengthening the spine enormously. So it's really important to work that stomach to the thighs. Don't skip that spot, because if you do, you're not getting a stretch, you're putting pressure on the back, because we need the tilt in the pelvis to be able to get that stomach to the thighs, and that's what we're after. So I think I've told people this story before, is once your pelvis is tilted, you're in a perfect position and anything can happen with your back. So the teacher in India used to do handstands on my back when I was in this pose. So he would get up and do handstands. It's pretty amazing. So keep working towards the deepest stretch you can. Last 10 seconds. So get as deep as you can go. If you're holding the toes, drop your elbows to the sides of the shins. Slowly come up and then just work your way into Shavasana. Make sure you got the strap close by. I'm just going to allow the blood to work through those hamstrings. So I've switched these two poses around today, just so you can feel the difference, how intense Paschimottanasana is. compared to hammock pose. So we're going to do the hammock next. A lot of people struggle with the hammock pose, but Paschimottanasana is way more intense. So you probably get into hammock a lot easier. So when you're ready, grab the strap, place it around your right foot. So full hammock pose is the strap goes around the back of your head. Adjust the strap. I always tell people to have it on full length, but once your hamstring starts opening, you can adjust the strap. So I always need to bring it like halfway down now. But if you can't put it around the back of your head or you don't want to, make sure you grab the strap with both hands and keep bringing that leg back. So even thigh to stomach. So come into this pose, a deep stretch of the hamstring. So after Paschimottanasana, this is the deepest you'll probably get into hammock pose. I can really get to this deep now, it's awesome. So if you've got any tightness or issues in the lower back, those two pose, Paschimottanasana and then hammock pose, will be really, really good for that. And you can always finish with Viparita Karani, legs up or legs up the wall. And those three poses will release any back pain. Most of our back pain or issues that we have on a daily basis come from compression of the spine and tight hamstrings. So if you just imagine that your hamstrings are supposed to release the lower back. So if they're tight and you've got compression, you know that's why you're getting all those issues in the lower back. So if you work to lengthen the spine and lengthen the hamstrings, it takes away all your back issues. And when you're ready, just switch legs. So again, if you're in hammock, just find that place where you're getting that deep stretch. If you've got your hands on the strap, both hands on the strap, and keep pulling the leg. So keep pulling that thigh towards the stomach. Once you get used to Paschimottanasana, where the heels push away and you're bringing the toes towards the shins, you start to do it naturally in all stretches. And so I find myself in this always just pushing the heel up and the toes coming towards the shins. So that's the intensity of the stretch. So if you can do that, work towards that. So you've got a minute to go. So try and take it to a place perhaps that you've never been. Working with that breath. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. Just lay both legs on the floor, move the strap to the side. Just relax in this position. So we've only really got a twist to the hips to finish off with, which is going to be pretty good timing. Just allow the blood to flow back through the hips first. So when you're ready, we're going to come into reclining twist. So staying where we are, bending both knees up into the chest and dropping the knees to the right. Now just be comfortable in this. It's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So if you want a cushion down to the side so you can relax the legs, do that. Or if you come all the way to the floor, that's fine, come to the floor. But always work your shoulder blades back onto the floor. Okay, so that's where the twist is coming. So shoulder blades on the floor, chin to the chest. And again, if you need something under the back of the head, do that. Bring your arms out in line with the shoulders. Your hands out in line with the shoulders. And this is a really nice, easy, supported twist. Just work with that breath to keep the breath nice and slow. So when you're ready, work the legs up, move over to the other side. Just remembering to bring those shoulder blades back to the floor, getting that twist. So you're dropping the knees to the left, you're trying to bring that right hip towards the floor. So that's the shoulder blades on the floor, you're getting that twist of the spine. Open through the hips. So when you're ready, coming back up. And then just come straight into Happy Baby. So we've got a minute in Happy Baby to finish off before the final Shavasana. So just get yourself set, lengthen the spine. That's why we're in Happy Baby. Fine, we want to lengthen it. So bring the shoulder blades to the floor. When you've got the when you're grabbing the feet, shoulder blades to the floor, knees either side of the rib cage. Chin to chest, really important. And bring the tailbone towards the floor. So if you just, this pose, working on this pose, is a lot happening, but lengthening through the spine is the most important part of this pose. So I know everyone's tailbone is probably up off the floor. Continually work it to the floor. Once you get it to the floor, you just get so much more out of this pose. So that's the tightness of the hips if your tailbone's up off the floor. So work it down to the floor. And once you work it down to the floor, you're actually getting a really nice massage of the. So if you've been high in Vata lately, this is really good. So when you're ready, just release, come into the final pose, Shavasana. We just got a couple of minutes in Shavasana, so just lay back, relax, enjoy. Just allow the blood to flow through those hips first. If you need to get up and start work or do anything, just allow the blood to flow through the hips before you do anything. And just relax. Once the blood is flowing through the hips, you'll be fine to do any movement, but just every time you do a pose, you know, and you're in it for over a minute, always allow at least 30 seconds for the pose to get the benefits out of the pose. So the blood would have flowed through now. You're getting nice flow of blood. So relaxing in Shavasana. And remember with Shavasana, just focus on one thing. Don't focus on the thing that you're about to do. It's like go to work or make a coffee or make breakfast. Focus on one thing in the body. I always go down to the belly button or the heart. The heart's a really nice thing because it takes a little while before you can actually feel that beat. Once you feel the beat, it's prominent. Just feel the beat of the heart. Once you lose focus of the heart, then go back to the belly button. Feel the belly button raising, falling with each breath. Then take the focus to the nostrils. Feel the breath going in and out of the nostrils. Give yourself this peace for the next minute. Go back to the heart. Feel that beat of the heart. You should feel it a little bit more prominent now you're going back there. And then just focus on the right arm. Just feel the right arm. Just feel the sensation in the right arm. Move to the left arm. Feel the sensation in the left arm. Go back to the nostrils. Feel the breath in and out of the nostrils. Then just focus on the space between the lips. Now just relax the jaw and then focus on the space between the lips. Feel the difference there. Now move to the space between the eyebrows. Focus on that area. And then just take your vision there. So roll your eyes up there. Don't strain your eyes. You don't have to go all the way up. Just allow the eyes to move towards that area. This is Chitta. This is your space. It's your peace. Then relax the eyes, go back to the heart. Feel the heart. Now go back to the space between the lips. Relax the jaw again. Focus on where the lips are touching each other. Where's the most pressure? Is it the side of the lips? Is it the middle? And just go back and relax the jaw again. And then go back to the lips. Has the pressure changed? Now go to the breath through the nostrils. Feel the coolness of the breath in and out of the nostrils. Then go back to the space between the eyebrows, Chitta. Have a look there and just notice the change. Once the mind's calm, the manifestation of consciousness changes. It could change from colour to shape, or shape to colour, or shape to space. And just enjoy and take note of that. And relax the eyes again. Just connect to the normal breath, the natural, calming breath. And then just give yourself a heap of praise for getting here this morning and just enjoying the flow of the class. Not being hard on yourself, just allowing the class to happen, knowing that you've done some real positive things for your mind and body. Now you feel good in yourself, send a gratitude off to someone in your life that means a lot to you. Send that gratitude to them. And when you're ready to start wiggling the toes and the fingers, roll to the right hand side. Take a breath on the right hand side. Work your way up to Sukhasana. Bring the hands into prayer. Thumbs in the middle of the chest so we can bring that sternum up. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. And thank you all for being here and allowing me to take you through the class. Just hope you enjoyed the flow of the class, the ease of the class. I hope you feel amazing in the body and the mind and have a wonderful Friday. Take it all into your Friday, the flow. So have a wonderful day. See you again soon. Namaste.